Hi everybody, welcome back to another one of my monthly forecasts. If this is the first time you're seeing me, my name is Angela Peterson and I am a psychic medium and shamanic practitioner in Sedona, Arizona. I do sessions both online and in person, so if you're interested in booking a session with me, the link to my website will be below this video. I am multitasking today. I'm helping a friend of mine run her shop while at the same time recording my forecast, since I have a lot going on at the end of this month. So I had to find the time to get it done and make it good. So I'm just gonna jump right in with some of the themes that we have going on for the month of August. We did have the dog spirit coming out for August. On the card it says, be loyal to what you love. So the dog spirit is reminding us that life is always changing, and we are currently going through big change as a collective and also on an individual level. So when dog spirit shows up in the middle of that change, it's reminding us to really stay steadfast in our integrity and in our commitment to the things that we love. Dogs represent loyalty and unconditional love. So it's really important this month that as we go through these times of uncertainty and when we're feeling really unsettled and we don't know what to grab onto, what we need to be focusing on is what we love and who we love. So it's staying really loyal to yourself and in your own integrity, no matter the challenges that are coming into your lives. It's like, how can you be so much more in a state of unconditional love or acceptance, really? So recently I've been learning a really interesting lesson about surrender. You know, I think we're all always learning maybe a lesson about surrender. I know I mentioned surrender in the last forecast, and I don't know, maybe all of them, because the theme of this year, honestly, I feel like has been about surrender. So it's like change, but surrender. How can you just go with the flow of change and be in a place of acceptance for that change? Some of you may have seen a couple of videos that I posted about what's going on with us right now, and from an energetic standpoint, and what we're going through collectively is we are all in this middle place. It feels like we're all sort of floating in midair, where we're moving from one reality and into another reality. But currently we're in the middle place where we're making that leap. We're taking that jump, and it's a very intense feeling. And so it brings up all of these feelings of uncertainty and feeling very unsettled and even ungrounded. And we as humans, with our brain and our ego, we like certainty. So we tend to grasp onto anything that is real or solid, that gives us a sense of security. And right now it's feeling more difficult to do that. And so we're being forced into the act of surrender, but many of us are fighting it. And this is definitely a theme because I've been talking to several of my clients about it, and I've been going through it myself as well. We talk about surrender a lot, and surrender is something that is somewhat hard to define, but really when it comes down to it, something that I've realized on an even deeper level recently is that surrender is about acceptance. And I noticed myself going from one extreme to another, where I was either trying so hard and trying to force things and being perfect and all of that, to going to the other extreme, which is like giving up. And in the giving up, I just thought, okay, fine, I surrender, I give up. And I realized, though, a friend of mine helped me realize that both of these places are coming from a place of disempowerment. And empowerment is not a giving up feeling. When we are always trying so hard and maybe we're swimming against the stream, then we become exhausted. And yes, you can surrender in exhaustion. It's like a forced surrender, but a lot of times what we do, though, is that in that exhaustion, we can also close down, we can shut down, we can close down our hearts, and we can be in this place of like, ugh, life is so hard. And life is hard, it's definitely hard. We have our hard times. And what I've recently realized is that in surrender, it has really nothing to do with that giving up of like bleh feeling. It's more like okay, all right, I'm gonna move into a place of acceptance, and I'm gonna open my heart, and I'm gonna invite spirit in. I'm gonna say, okay, I'm handing this over to you, essentially. This is what surrender looks like. I feel like I've gone as far as I can go from my human perspective that is limited. And so I'm now going to hand it over to you, but I'm also going to be open to receiving, and I'm going to process and feel the feelings that come up in my acceptance. And this is what can move us into a state of trust. And it's in our openness that we actually still are able to receive what the universe is trying to bring us. When we get into fear or we get into anything, any sort of resistance, and so many things can be resistance. So just like my giving up is still kind of a form of resistance, because I wasn't fully letting go in that. I was like, I'm freaking surrendering here. What the hell? And nothing's happening, and I still feel trapped, and I still feel stuck. But I really wasn't surrendering. I was still in resistance. It wasn't until I could actually release the outcome. So I had to accept that maybe there's a reason for where I'm at. I need to be here. I need to be experiencing what I'm experiencing. And there's a bigger picture that I can't see from my limited perspective. And so the surrender piece was moving me into trusting that. Moving into trust that, okay, everything usually does work out, but I have to be willing and able to really let go of my own expected outcome. I have to be open to whatever the outcome is meant to be for my highest good. So when we get into fear and we get into a state of resistance in any way to what is, then it contracts our energy, which it closes our energy down, which makes us less available to the universe at large to bring to us what we are asking for. So even if we are in fear or any other emotion that tends to sort of contract us or shut us down, we need to practice being open. We've got to open our hearts, open our energy, open our minds to the bigger picture. And that is an act that will lead us to the state of surrender. So the dog spirit this month can really help us move into that state of being open-hearted and being open to receiving what the universe is trying to give. It's sort of a message in a way that the universe is unconditionally loving, and it's actually we as humans that get in the way of that. So we're the ones who are limiting ourselves based on the thoughts that we're thinking and just being in resistance, period. August feels like an intense month, I will be honest. It does feel like it can potentially be a challenging month for many of us. August feels like it could potentially be a reset of sorts. So it's almost like going so deep in that you get to 0 point. It feels like a void energy, and it feels like it can be the beginning of many, many, many things. So it's like a birthplace of creativity, or a birthplace of just many new beginnings that we have been really focused on. And I do feel a sense of pressure when I focus on the energy of August. So that's what reminds me so much of a birth canal. It feels like another birth canal that we are moving through as a collective. So I feel like it could get more intense. And then September so far is looking like maybe a lighter month, potentially somewhat of an easier month, but we'll see when we get there and I do that forecast. August feels like a breakdown, like it's gonna break down your barriers, it's gonna break down your limitations, the beliefs that have been restricting you and holding you back. It feels like it feels like the restriction is gonna get tighter and then it's gonna pop open if you surrender. And the reason for this is because there is a lot of DNA activation. Now, DNA activation has been happening for some time now, but August feels like a concentrated energy of DNA activation. We are all, as we're shifting from one dimension into another dimension, that means that the light that's coming in is activating cellular memory from long time ago, very ancient cellular memory. So it's activating the true potential of a human, because we have been under a spell, I guess. We've been under the impression that we are less capable than we really truly are. So as this DNA activates, you can actually feel a sense of pressure. It's like when my mediumship ability was coming online, I was feeling this intense pressure at the back of my neck, in the back of my head, and in my throat. And the more I resisted that pressure, the worse it got, like the more painful it actually got. And it was like Spirit was trying to recalibrate my system so that I could connect with the higher frequencies, so I could tune in with the other dimensional states. And I have heard other channels and psychics mention something like this that they've experienced as well, this intense pressure. So that pressure is what I'm sensing. That's what I'm feeling for the month of August. And so that's telling me then that we are all moving through a recalibration. So we are up leveling, we're upgrading. And my guides just keep telling me that this is 0 point. There's a feeling of the void or the veil that we sort of walk through when we cross over, when we pass away in this lifetime and then we move into a new one. It feels like August feels like the huge ending that needs to take place before we step through that veil. So I don't know what this is gonna look like from a physical standpoint. This is just what they keep telling me, that August is the 0 point month and that there's a lot of DNA activation happening. So also what I want to mention about the DNA activation is that when that happens, so when your body is shifting and recalibrating and getting ready to hold new frequencies, there's a detoxification that happens. And in that detoxification, you could be experiencing things like rashes. I know many people who are experiencing rashes. I am one of them. You can also be experiencing headaches, fatigue. It's really any sort of detox symptom that we could all be experiencing currently. The reason for this is because, I don't know if you have noticed, but parasite cleansing has become a really big deal. It's become very popular detoxification in general has become very popular, but I'm noticing it more going viral around the whole interweb. So parasite cleansing, heavy metal detoxing, candida fungus cleansing, all of these things are coming very much online and into people's awareness that it's what needs to be happening. Now, when we talk about parasites are a real thing in the body from a physical standpoint, but they are also real from an energetic standpoint. There are energetic parasites as well as physical ones. And so these things have to sort of pop off or out of your energy if your frequency is no longer a vibrational match to theirs. So all of us have been going through a really intense detoxification. And this year mainly has been a real big focus on that for the physical body. So if you've been experiencing detox symptoms, and you can look them up, if you've been experiencing detox symptoms, it is because your body is trying to detox as its energetic recalibration is happening. So if you want to help your body along, then actually do some cleansing, but do your research about cleansing first, because you don't want to hit parasites before you do heavy metal detox and fungus and mold. You want to make sure that you're doing the metal and the fungus detoxing first before you do parasites. The reason for that is because these are things that parasites feed off of. And then from an emotional and spiritual standpoint, we are also detoxing those frequencies or those vibrations that parasitic energies can be attached to. So as we detox that, it will actually kill the parasites in your physical body as well. And you may experience die-off symptoms from that alone. I would say that the chakra that is most highlighted for the month of August would be the solar plexus chakra. So the other thing many of you could be experiencing are digestive issues. The solar plexus chakra relates to our sense of personal power. And when we connect the solar plexus chakra to the crown chakra, so this would actually be the other chakra that's activated or heightened this month, would be solar plexus and the crown. When those are connecting with each other, then it can create this sense of surrender. Because the solar plexus relates to the ego, our sense of identity and personality, it's like connected to our purpose of how do we want to be in this world, or who are we in this world, and what are we contributing to this world. It's also the part of us though that because it contains the ego, it can be the place that we hold the desire for control, wanting to control things. And the reason that we want to control is because there's a sense of powerlessness that we're feeling, control comes from fear. So this month is like a heightened experience of surrendering into the fear, and maybe even surrendering fear, or at least egoic fear, and moving that energy up into this state of connection with the divine where you can really, really trust. Now, some tips for this, because the solar plexus chakra is your relationship to yourself. It's how are you caring for yourself? How are you caring for yourself physically and emotionally? That means you would look at setting personal boundaries potentially in a way that is more self-caring. And really, just like the dog spirit talks about, it's really focusing on what you love. What do you love to do? Where do you love to be? Who do you love to be with? That is the focus for this month. Really staying away from the negative vibrations, the negative thought patterns, all of these narratives that people are being sucked into when it comes to the state of the world, the government, yada, yada, yada. Now, I'm not dismissing that as if it's not happening or it's not true, because there are a lot of things that are happening and that are true to a certain timeline and in a certain perception of reality. But if you've been watching my forecasts or any of my videos at all, then you will know that I continue to talk about us being the creator of our reality and that we're literally choosing our timelines right now. If you are focused so much on war, what could possibly go wrong, the destruction of the world, the end of the world, I mean, you're continuously feeding that timeline of reality, which is only an option. It's not certain, it's not destined, it is only a potential that has not solidified. So what do you want to solidify? That is what you need to focus on really intensely for the month of August. Take care and have a great month.